What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Monday Night Raw review. Man, I had a whole rant I was going to do, but then they kind of, swerved me with some of the things I was going to rant about. Because I was just fully, like, we're about to get into how they started off Monday Night Raw. I was fully expecting Roman Reigns not to be there, and then he kicked off Monday Night Raw, so I was like, dang it. I'm like, there go my rant, but here we go. So they did a little a pack. Of course, they little recap package, but then they started off with Roman Reigns promo. The promo was oddly short. It was a short promo, like it was a short opening promo because there wasn't a lot of talking. They basically came out. The majority of the promo was Roman Reigns' entrance. And then once they got in the ring, Paul Heyman welcomed everybody, and they did their little silly poses. By the time the microphone got to Roman Reigns, he was just he told them to acknowledge him. And this is when the promo basically, at this point, it became the end of the promo because once he said acknowledge me, RK Bro came out of nowhere after fans was acknowledging him. While he was like taking it in, they basically came and just RKO and like in unison, both Randy Orton and Riddle RKO the Usos. He turns around, they start, they basically got him trapped. He's trying to figure out what he's gonna do, and then they they go like this, and then out comes Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre comes out with his sword pointing towards Roman, and then he like, you know what? And just drops his sword, and then they start fighting Roman. But then the Usos would get back involved, which was weird. That was like the weirdest part of it was you gotta stay. Like RK Bro got out of the ring once Drew McIntyre got in there to let him do what he gotta do with Roman, while they kept the Usos at bay. But then somehow the Usos got in the ring to attack Drew. I'm like, when are you supposed to? Anyway. But then they got back in the ring, attacked the Usos, made it a 3-on-3, and then they send the Usos and Roman packing. And that was the end of that promo. Despite how long it took me to explain that, it was actually quick. It was quick. The promo was quicker than my explanation, honestly. But then we got the first match, which was they advertised it. I guess it was like a backstage segment with Alpha Academy and Kevin Owens and the Street Profits and Ezekiel. But that was the first match of the night, which was the 6-man tag. They started it. The thing that was interesting, they started the wrestling part with a 6-man tag, and the final match of the night was a 6-woman tag. So this was a night, I guess you could say this was a night of six people tag. But yeah, so that was the first match. It was Kevin Owens and the Alpha Academy versus Ezekiel and the Street Profits, or the Street Profits and Ezekiel. The match was okay. It was a swerve because the Street Profits, okay, one of the things that I'm trying to formulate words for is that what the hell is the WWE doing with the Street Profits? I mean, come on. You have them do something heelish, and then now they face. Then they do something heelish again. I thought it was going to be a sneeze. I was waiting on it. But you have them do something heelish. Then you got them do something face again. Now, it's like they don't know what they're doing with the Street Profits. Because I heard, from what we hear, there's supposed to be, Vince McMahon feels like people are being misused. That their characters now are being misused in the wrong way. So that's why a lot of people are turning heel, and a lot of people are turning face. But they don't know what the hell they're doing with the Street Profits at this point. But the match itself was okay. The swerve, that was the one swerve I was talking about. The other swerve was that Kevin Owens and the Alpha Academy got the victory here. So I was just like, wow. I honestly, for the first time in a long time, I guessed wrong who was going to win. I figured it was going to be Ezekiel and the Street Profits. They actually took the L. So I'm just like, you know what? That was a good swerve. But yeah, moving on. The second match, I think they showed some video package, but the second match ended up being Veer versus an local enhancement talent, or a squash match. And that's not much to say here. Veer dominated and he got the victory. The next match was AJ Styles versus Damien Priest. They advertised this early on in the show too, just to put that out there. That I guess it was like a backstage interview that AJ Styles was basically talking about this match and how he was going to beat Damien Priest because Edge don't like the fact that he almost was beaten by AJ Styles at WrestleMania. It wasn't for Damien Priest. But the big caveat of that interview was that he revealed that the match had a stipulation. If he beats Damien Priest would be barred from ringside. But that was it. There was no... But if Damien Priest wins, something else would happen. It would just, he had to win to keep Damien Priest from ringside. So when we get to the match, Priest come out first. Edge cuts a wonderful promo in the crowd and on AJ Styles. But then the match starts. AJ Styles comes out and the match starts. He cuts off Edge's promo. The match itself was good. It had its usual interference, Edge doing the usual heel thing by getting on the ring distractions and stuff. But in the end, Damien Priest he didn't get a phenomenal forearm or nothing. He just got a simple roll up, and the victory went to AJ Styles. Which means AJ Styles barred for AJ Styles. Damien Priest is barred from ringside, but they would jump and brawl and beat up AJ Styles until Finn Balor comes out. And Finn Balor will even the odds and help send Damien Priest and Edge running. Thus, and then as AJ Styles got his wits about him to realize who saved him, he'll look at Finn and go, and Finn would go like this too, and he was like, you know what? Uniting the Bullet Club, well, both versions of it anyway. If you guys know your indies, you know that the Bullet Club had two leaders, AJ Styles and Finn Balor. So they basically unite. That's like you see the two leaders unite. We got the Miz TV promo next, which is he basically brought out Mustafa Ali. And he's, and the guys of him being the bigger man, but Mustafa Ali couldn't speak because the microphone wasn't working. He couldn't do the interview properly. And, Miz was just taunting him about basically about quitting and trying to make his name for himself off of them. But then, Mustafa Ali would have enough to snatch Miz microphone and use his microphone to speak and tell the Miz, to shove it, and that, it's fine. He admits that what he did, but that he will be, United States champion or whatnot. And then the Miz, I remember the funny thing about the Miz trying to take back his microphone, but then realized he took back the one that he gave Mustafa, so he couldn't speak. And then he was like, "Oh, you think you're funny switching the microphones like that on me?" They would get in each other's face, and I think Mustafa basically was like challenging Miz to a match. But then Austin Theory would come out. Austin Theory would basically come out and reveal that, you know what, I will give you a championship contenders match. That's what they call it. I guess the championship contenders match is what it is. If you could beat the champion in a non-title match, the next time you face him will be for the title. And that's what he gave Mustafa Ali, but it'll be a handicap match. in that handicap match. So Austin Theory basically said, yeah, you can have your championship contenders match in a handicap match, which was that what brings to us to the next match, and that's what it was. Austin, Mustafa Ali. I said Austin Theory. I guess it's Theory, but Mustafa Ali did good. He held his own for the most part, but it became too much for him, and thus he lost the match to The Miz and Theory. The next match would be Dana Brooke versus Nikki Ash for the 24/7 championship. I guess earlier in the day, Nikki pinned Dana, and Reggie. She told Reggie that he wanted to save the marriage. He gotta get her a championship match, and that's what this was. And she ended up going in there and beating Nikki pretty fair. It was only like a 3-minute match, and then Dana Brooke is the victor. Usually the 24/7 championship has been tolerable, but the fact that they only had a 3-minute match it just shows how meaningless it was. But then I guess because Reggie tried to pin her again, and she got upset. She said she wanted a divorce. Dana Brooke to Reggie. Seth Rollins will cut a promo next, basically trying to steal Randy Orton's thunder from last week, saying that last week we had a 3-hour Randy Orton appreciation day, celebration, 20 year celebration. So now we're gonna have a Seth Rollins appreciation day. So he had the lights cut off to where just a single spotlight on him, and he wanted the people to basically do like Roman Reigns and acknowledge him. And, it was cool though, because as he was standing, the crowd would start doing his little song, and but he would get interrupted by the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. They would have some bars back and forth with each other, and then a fight broke out to where Cody even launched Seth's jacket into the crowd, so some lucky member got to keep Seth Rollins' jacket. But we would have Bobby Lashley versus Cedric Alexander. This was also set up from earlier in the day, where Cedric tried to get it back in good graces with MVP, and he told MVP that he had a match with Bobby. So this match was pretty decent for the most part. I didn't think Cedric would get that much offense in, but he got a lot more than I thought. But Bobby Lashley ended up winning with a spear and the Hurt Lock combo. So this will bring us to our main event, which was, like I said, how they started it with a 6-man tag. They finished it with a 6-person tag. So this was a good match. I will not lie, and please do not lie. Okay, I'm sorry. This ain't Batman. This was also set up from early in the day, where it was revealed that it would be a 6-woman tag. The storyline going to this was that Sonya Deville basically demanded to know from Adam Pearce why she was being investigated, because she's done everything by the books, and Adam Pearce explained that he's not the one investigating her. The higher ups are investigating her, and the reason why she's been investigated from the higher ups is because they said of her conduct that he said her conduct of abusing power, but most importantly, he said what pushed them into doing it was that the fact that she used her power to basically give herself a Raw Women's Championship match, and now then they, with everything else, they take into account. Now they have to figure out if she's been abusing power. So with that being said, Adam Pearce told her that one of the things they wanted her to do was operate with no power for a night, so that they could see if she's really abusing power. So they had her do a 6-woman tag match with her teaming up with Rhea and Becky versus the team of Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Liv Morgan, and she would have no power whatsoever. Becky and Liv cut a promo. Bianca could have did too. I don't remember if Bianca did, but I know Becky and Liv and basically it was like three of them: Becky, Liv, and Sonya. I mean, Becky, Liv, and Sonya. They're the ones who cut the promos for sure. I can't remember if anybody else did, but the match itself was good. You know, everybody got their offense in. The only thing I didn't like about this match was that it didn't have a longer time. It felt like everything was rushed a little bit, but it is what it was because it took up the last 10 to 15 minutes of the show. Wish they had a little bit more than that, so because you had a lot of great talent in that ring who could have showcased a lot more of their skills if they had a lot more time. But for what it was good. And it was good to see that they haven't forgot about Liv Morgan, and that Liv Morgan is the one who got the victory here. She pinned Sonya Deville to get the victory with the help of, from the help with Bianca distracting her on the outside. And then Morgan would hit her finisher, and she would get the victory. And like I said, that was to me, that was the best part of the match. The best part of the match that Liv got the victory here, giving her a little elevated push. And then the worst part was just the fact that they didn't have enough time. But that is the show. So, with all that being said, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode of Monday Night Raw. And if you enjoyed this review, then hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my wrestling reviews. And if you enjoy this review so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, do all those great things, because it helps me when you give me your feedback to do this even better. And as always, hitting on new videos for more of my amazing content, but they're going anywhere. Got a lot more videos coming your way. Peace out. 2 fingers.